Mid-season Ruminations. Have the Lightning faced enough adversity? Will we win enough to hold a playoff spot? What moves may Julien Brisbois be considering? Find out in this episode of Distant Lightning. Hey everyone, I just woke up from hibernation. How are we doing? Are we leading the league? I kind of went to sleep in mid-October or something and just woke up again. And let's take a look. So it looks like the situation is in the Eastern Conference. Okay, as of today, we're in the playoffs. We're not leading. The Boston Bruins are number one in our division with 59 points. But we are in the third position, right behind Toronto. We have 48 points. 39 games played, so we have 3 games in hand against the 2 teams ahead of us, Boston and Toronto. If we look at some wild card teams, though, there's a few teams right behind us looking also to get that third spot. We have Carolina with 50 points, Philadelphia with 49, Florida close behind them, and Columbus. After that, the teams kind of drop off, so we can shed a tear for Buffalo, the Rangers, Montreal, Ottawa, New Jersey, and Detroit bringing up the rear. So how are our players doing? Last year, obviously, was an amazing season for the Lightning, winning all season long, just winning and winning and winning, scoring and scoring and scoring. It was crazy. It was kind of cool, until we got to playoffs, but whatever. So if we look at 2019, 2020, forwards and D versus 2018, 2019. So this season versus last season. We can see that what I've noticed is a lot of our points getters they're about kind of like 2/3 of where they were. So they're about 1/3 less in performance. So Kucherov, he's done 42 points so far. We're not quite exactly. We have 3 more games, I think, to hit exactly halfway compared to last season, but we're pretty close. So he's at 42 points. Last season, he did a total of 128, so he should be more like 60 points at this point if this was last year, so he's down. Stamkos, 37 points, okay? Last year, he probably was hitting close to 45. He's down a little bit. Who else? Victor Hedman, okay, Mr. Offensive D. He was at 54 points all of last year, and he's already, he's at 37, so actually he's doing better than last year. Brayden Point, he is at 33 points this season. Last season, he totaled 92. So again, kind of like Kucherov, he should be in the 40 range. So he's a little bit behind. Anthony Cirelli, huge positive surprise. He's doing way better. Palat's also doing better than last season. So it's interesting. Our premier players seem to be down a little bit, but then new players and some mid-range players are actually doing better than last season. Honestly, that might be a good sign. And I think this kind of plays into the new coaching strategy of shoring up our defense, playing some smarter, less riskier hockey, and still finding a way to win games, which it looks like in the last few games we're doing. So if the Lightning can keep it up and the players keep playing more consistently the way they are recently, we may find ourselves back in the playoffs, and maybe we'll be a stronger playoff contender. If we look at goalies, I've been reading some news, and there's a lot of talk about our goaltending, maybe being why the Lightning had this long stretch of mixed results. And sure enough, if you compare Vasilevskiy this season from last season, this season's on top, last season's on bottom, we can see, if you just move your eyeballs over to the far right, save percentage. I mean, this season he's at .909, so 90.9%. Last year, over the course of the whole season, he was at 92.5%. So he's down a little bit. If you look at the backup goaltending, Domingue, man, I hate to say it, but he looked better than McElhinney's stats. But to be fair, McElhinney was playing games during, what do you want to call it, our transition period, our adversity learning period. And the team just wasn't really trying to win games, or they just weren't successful, a better way to put it, at winning games when he happened to be in net. Even with Vasi in net, the team would let some really good scoring chances happen for the other team. And unfortunately, they would score on them. We make one mistake on D, their team capitalized and scored. And that's why I think Vasilevskiy took some heat early on. But the last game, he was stellar. I mean, he looked like his old self, and hopefully we see more of that. And it could be psychological, right? Maybe he's feeding into the team vibe of a winning team, a team that's working hard, doing the right things, and he is joining that vibe, if you will. Okay, next up. Again, I happen to be fed a recording, an unverified recording, mind you, allegedly between Julien Brisbois, the GM of the Lightning, and his old boss, Steve Yzerman, now the general manager of the Detroit Red Wings. Let's have a listen.
Yes, hello. Is this Julien? It's your old buddy, Stevie Y. What's going on? Yes, I did get your croissants. My family enjoyed them, thank you. So, what makes me reach out? Well, I wanted to discuss, I'm curious about your plan, your coaching plan. Are you really going to keep Cooper around, given your results this year? Yes, he also shared his gum with me. And he also likes your croissants, okay. And that's keeping him. What about the Coop's line blender? I can't tell you how many times I talked to him when I was the general manager of the Tampa Bay Lightning that line blender had to stop. Oh, he likes it. He thinks it messes up the other team's ability to predict our plays, the Tampa Bay Lightning's plays. Interesting. Okay. Well, do you know how I have employed his line blender here in Detroit? I've asked our coach to implement line blender in order to sink as low in the standings as possible so we can get very good draft picks next draft. The blender is working wonders for the Detroit Red Wings to lose games. Oh, you're winning now. Actually, I can't say I've been paying attention to your stats. 9 games? Impressive. Okay, well, you are looking for trades? You want an offensive team man with some personality, panache, and who also likes your thoughts? I can think of a man in New Jersey who may be looking to move. Yes, indeed. Subrinator. I agree. He'd have to come in a lot lower than what he's making now. Oh, you're looking for some Russians to be friends with Nikita Kucherov. Are you poached from the Rangers again? Yes, we've done it many times in the past. Yes, it's a well that just keeps on giving. Pavel Bushnevich. Yes. That's probably a good pick. Or Ryan Strome, you say? I'll have to look at him. The name's not too familiar to me. And for a D-man, Anthony who? A. D'Angelo. Interesting. I'm making notes. I appreciate it. Helping me out because maybe I'll go dip in that well myself. Okay, Julien. Well, good luck the rest of the season, and maybe I'll meet up with you at the All-Star game. Take care.
Okay, how about that? Well, again, that was unverified, but, it was very interesting to hear some talk about trades and maybe making some moves with forwards and D. So I decided to have a little peek at our roster to see who might be trade bait. If we look at forwards, this is my opinion only, but if I look at forwards, and Cap Friendly does this nice little chart that shows you the dollars per point value of a player. So this list kind of big. You got to kind of go from the name on the left and then move your eyeballs all the way to the right, and you can get that dollar value point per point that these players are yielding. Yanni Gourde, and these are in worst to best order, okay? So Yanni Gourde, unfortunately, is at the top. He's costing the team, or his valuation is $144,000 and $144,548 per point, followed closely by Tyler Johnson at $115,000 per point. Okay, these two players, I think, could be considered by BB as a possible trade. They're costing the team quite a bit of money, but they're not really producing up to their dollar value when you compare them against some other players. Like if you look at, let's say, Brayden Point. He's costing the team about $89,800 per point. Our stars, Nikita Kucherov and Steven Stamkos, they're also hitting that $100,000, $104,000 per point. But the let's face it, they're worth it. I mean, they're worth it. Whereas Yanni and Tyler Johnson, I don't know, they just don't have much more to their game. They're kind of one-dimensional. I do like Yanni, don't get me wrong, especially because he is really good on the penalty kill. So he has some other assets and other features that are good. He's got lots of speed. He's pretty disruptive. But I can't help but think back, JT Miller. Is he as good as that? Is he worth the same price? And I feel like no is the answer. Tyler Johnson, I've always thought he is trade bait this season. Maybe we won't protect him when Seattle gets its new team. He's a Seattle, that's his hometown apparently, and maybe we just let him go then. But if BB's looking for some trades and he needs some money to play with, I mean, we're paying him like $5 million a year. There's a lot of decent players that have other skill sets besides twice a game streaking in with the puck and getting a scoring opportunity. I mean, he's kind of a one-trick pony in my opinion. Does he sometimes make some neat plays around the net? I don't know. Maybe every few games he does. That's not enough to pay someone $5 million. But again, that's my opinion. The other trade bait, and I was really sorry to see him on this list, is Andrei Palat, because I personally like watching Andrei. But unfortunately, the numbers don't lie. He's costing a team $105,000 per point. And even though he's doing better this year, honestly, I think that makes him more likely or more attractive to trade him for maybe a player that can fill a different kind of role for us, or maybe cost less and allow us to add some more, maybe like a rental, someone really skilled as a rental. So unfortunately, Palat's on this list, but again, numbers don't lie. The other two kind of toward the bottom of this list, they're not necessarily costing a team a lot. But after watching them, Carter Verhaeghe and Matthew Joseph, you know what? They're rookies. Joseph, this is his second season really playing full-time on the team, but he still looks like a rookie and plays like one. Verhaeghe, man, his stats were so good in the AHL. He looks so good on paper, and then he comes in, and I just don't really see the contributions. He just looks like he's flying around and flailing, kind of like Captain Chaos, Matthew Joseph, in a very similar fashion. And I just don't see a lot of great plays. He played best when Joseph, and Mitch Stevens, who I do like what I'm seeing, when they played in the same line together. I really like that rookie line. They kind of played in a similar fashion and worked well together. So I don't know. Maybe Cooper will bring that back and we get to see more of that. Otherwise, maybe we can get some really good draft picks or a 2-for-1 kind of deal with those two. Anyway, we'll see what happens. If I look at defense, all right, I'm kind of happy with our defense. I know defensively, our team maybe gets some criticism. I mentioned earlier, Vassie's performance may have improved because our team as a whole has improved our defense. Whenever I watch our team play, I'm really happy when Hedman's out there and when McDonough's out there, right? Those are the two I really like. Offensively, I'm really happy when Sergachev and Hedman are out there. They're really good offensively. And now Shattenkirk, okay? So who's left? Jan Ruda is kind of young, but I think he's fitting in, and he doesn't cost the team a lot, so I can't see us moving him. Luke Witkowski, we just bring him in when we need somebody, a bruiser, okay? Let's say against Boston. And then Luke Shen, same thing. When we want to erase somebody on their team, we bring in the human eraser. So I think we have used those two utility players in a good way. Brayden Coburn really is the one player. He really improved last season. That might have been his best season since I've been watching. He looked really good. Now he's been hurt. He's got a lower body injury, I guess, and he's in and out of the lineup. But he's costing the team a lot of money per point. I know it's a defenseman, so it's not necessarily fair to judge a defenseman like that. But he's costing $1.7 million. I can't help but think maybe there's like a younger player who's got speed and some physicality that maybe we could instead bring on the team. I don't know. We'll see.
There she is. There's Shelby. She's a Tampa Bay Lightning fan, isn't she? Yes, you are. Yes, you are.